Well, everybody, hello and welcome back to Puck Drop Season 4. It's episode 2 for you guys and everyone watching. It's episode 1 for me. I'm very happy to be back. Hope you all enjoyed Alex Selvin filling in for me. And let's get going with our tier list this week for our top Devils, Jacob.
Yes, so today we are going to have, it's a very exciting episode. It's one of 2 or 3 tier lists we're going to do this year, and we are kicking things off with a tier list on all-time New Jersey Devils greats all the way in alphabetical order from Martin Brodeur to Travis Zajac. There will be 4 tiers: GOATs, great, pretty good, and solid. And Ryan will kick things off. Martin Brodeur, where are you putting him, Ryan?
Well, I'm going to have to be honest with you. He's a GOAT.
Yeah.
He is.
I have my notes written.
He's by far the best goalie in Devils history, maybe even in the league.
Yeah, I mean, people regard him as one of the best goalies in NHL history.
Arguably the best.
Arguably the best. It's pretty clear he should be in the GOATs tier.
I have in my notes written,
Would I be right to say, you know the list better than me? I mean, we both read the list, but it would be right to say he's probably the best on the list.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's in the Hall
So
of
if he's
Fame.
not a GOAT, this is not a true good team. So
Exactly.
100% we got to put him there.
He has 4 Vezina trophies. He has 9 additional top 5 finishes. He holds the record for most games he has the record for most games played by a goalie with 1,259. He is just the GOAT.
Wow.
So let's move on to the next one. I am up next with that's the next one. Ken Daneyko is next. And, you know, Daneyko,
He's a legend.
he's Mr. Devil. He's a Devils legend.
I kind of like Daneyko as a broadcaster. He's a GOAT of a broadcaster. I mean, his voice doesn't really fit the
Absolutely.
broadcasting quota, but he just knows the game and everybody loves him.
Absolutely.
So if we're talking about broadcasting, he's a GOAT, but if not, I'd say he's in between the GOAT column and the one lower.
I honestly, I'm not going to say that because, okay, if we're talking about actual talent, because he
was a great defenseman,
He's the
Jacob.
all-time leader in games played in Devils history. He was a solid defenseman. He was a bottom 4 defenseman. But do you put a bottom 4 defenseman in the GOATs are great?
No.
I'd say he's solid.
Well. Let's let our guard down a little bit here. You're being very specific, and we can't do that if we're talking about the Devils. We're talking about Devils GOATs. This guy has to be a memorable defenseman for the Devils. If he's not a GOAT, he's one below.
Look, I feel, for this tier list, everyone on
He
this
might
list,
not be a greatest Devil defenseman of all time, but I think he's the next level to it.
everyone on this list is a legendary Devils player. What we're measuring here is how good they were on the ice. On the ice, I'd say Ken
No,
Daneyko
how good
is-
they were on the Devils.
Yes,
Well, yeah,
he was on the Devils.
as a New Jersey Devil on the ice.
Yeah.
So
And-
that's why you can vote to bump him up to pretty good, but I'm going to just keep him in solid.
I'm
He was
keeping
still
him in
solid.
solid,
He was
so
still
yeah.
a very good defenseman. He played for a really long time at
He's
a
a
fairly
pure
high level.
enforcer.
I think he's the next best thing to a GOAT. He's obviously not a GOAT, but I will tell you why he's the next best thing to a GOAT, because he is Ken Daneyko. He's built a name. His number is retired.
Yeah,
His number
I
is
mean, that's
retired.
His number is
But
retired.
that's just because he's Mr. Devil.
Yeah,
There's
that
more
doesn't mean
people.
much.
Exactly. And we're talking about a Devils tier list. And if we take a look at these players right here, there's more players here than there's numbers retired. Why would he not be the next best thing to a GOAT, if not a GOAT?
We're
in
measuring
Devils?
on ice
We're not
performance.
talking the NHL. If we're talking about like a Tampa Bay Lightning team, if we're talking about a Boston Bruins original 6 team, no. We're talking about the New Jersey Devils of Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center. I would put him as the next best thing to a GOAT, if not the GOAT.
I'm keeping him in solid.
Unfortunately, you've been outvoted, Ryan.
That's what I miss about Pop Drop, everybody. Nobody on this set agrees with me, but everyone else off the set does.
We'll talk to Paul Curlin. All right, Jordan, you have Patrick Elias.
Well, Patrick Elias, I considered for a second putting him in great, but you know what? He's the Devils' all-time leader in most scoring categories, so he's a GOAT for me. He's one of the greatest of all time on the Devils. He's the all-time point leader with 1,025. He's the all-time goal leader with 408. He never had a top 5 Hart finish, but he does have 1,240 games played with the team, and he should be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. Patrick Elias also, just based on, so the analytical era in the NHL started in 2007. And based on that was towards the end of his career, the twilight years. He was an analytical darling in that stage of his career, which kind of shows if analytics were around pre-2007, he would have been like a fan favorite in the analytics community as well, on top of all of the scoring he did.
Touche. And of course, he is by far one of the best Devils players I think we know. I don't think his name is probably as big as Daneyko's, but I do think that on the ice, he was much better. So if anything, I think he's to go to the next level down.
I agree. He's
a
best.
GOAT.
I think he's the best forward in New Jersey Devils history.
Absolutely.
He's a GOAT. Ryan, back to you with Scott Gomez.
Scott Gomez, he's first of all, very good hockey player, Scott.
Yes.
very talented with the puck. He was I think he was a good forechecker too. I was a big fan of Scott Gomez. I'm going to put him in between pretty good and great. I don't think necessarily he's a GOAT, but I'm sure, knowing you guys, you disagree with me.
No, he's definitely not a GOAT.
I'd say he's good.
I agree with you. In between pretty good and great. He has won he has won the most recent Calder Trophy in New Jersey Devils history. That was back in his rookie season in 99-2000. He's won 2 Stanley Cups with the team. He left the Devils for the Rangers, though, which I think.
Wait a minute, hold on, timeout. You can't be making You can't be saying that makes him less of a Devil if you're not giving Mr. Devil the GOAT.
I'm saying, where are you putting him? Pretty good or great?
I'm putting him in probably great.
All right, I'll keep him there.
But I just want to let you know, it's one of those things where we're talking like B column. He's not an 89. He's not an 89%. He's an 81%. He's a great minus.
Well, I would
He's
say
leaning on pretty good.
I know I'm being outvoted here, but I would only say he's pretty good because he had 130-plus goal season with the team. He had 1 point per game season. He did win a Calder Trophy, but he only played 8 years for the team. He didn't get to that 900, 800 game mark that a
You
lot of
guys
these
are
players
really
have.
playing the ice game strictly with all of these with none
That's
of these
what we're
Devils,
measuring here.
except for Danico.
No, Danica was games played is very important.
Yes.
I agree with you, but I think he has to be the GOAT. I'm going to talk about this the whole show because we have a 22-minute segment. I will spend the next 15 and a half minutes talking about how good of an ice hockey player and how important he was to this team. He deserves to be a GOAT.
I disagree with that, but we already talked about Ken Danico for a while.
Jordan, he is the color voice of the Devils. We as TV personalities and me and you as broadcasters and you working alongside broadcasters know how famous and well known these broadcasters are. He has ice experience. Everybody knows him. He's a fan favorite. He's not an NHL GOAT. His number is retired. He is loved by the Devils. He is a GOAT. It's like Derek Jeter. A lot of people say, he might not be one of baseball's greatest. He's a little overrated. But every Yankee fan will back him up and say that he is a great baseball player because he was the team.
Well, the problem is we're not measuring. Again, all these players are absolute legends in Devils history, but what we're measuring here is on-ice performance and games played.
So then why are you discrediting one of our most recent players for switching to the Rangers?
I did not do that.
I wasn't discrediting it. I was just
He was just
bringing it
joking.
up. I was joking. It was
He was
just a
joking.
joke.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Ryan.
I'm up next. Let's move on. I have Andy Green. As much as we all loved our captain, Andy
love
Green.
Andy Green.
He's just solid.
Yeah.
I love Danny Green, but he's a solid. I don't even think he. But honestly, he's lucky he was on the list.
Yeah.
Maybe his captaincy earned him that spot on the list.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He was
the captain of the team for 5+ years. He was a very solid player while on the team. Nothing more than that, I would say.
I couldn't put it better. He was just a very stable presence for the team.
Jordan, you're up next. You got a controversial one.
Oh,
Taylor
goody.
Hall.
Oh, I love this one. Taylor Hall. I'm going to put him, and this might be controversial.
Wait
I went
for it.
back.
Goat. You're gonna say goat.
No, why would I do that?
Because I know you, Jordan.
No, I don't like Taylor Hall. I was going back and forth between solid and good, but just because Taylor Hall won the only Hart Trophy in Devils history, I am going to put him firmly in good. He only played 3.5.
Whoa.
He only played 3.5 years for the team, and he only had really one elite season. But he was a key scorer for the team. And the thing that really bumps him up to good is he won that Hart Trophy. If he didn't win that Hart Trophy, I would put him in solid. What do you think?
I think he's no doubt about it solid because he won a Hart Trophy. That's the only reason why he's solid.
No, I mean, he was a point-per-game player with the Devils. It was in parts of 5 seasons.
You love Taylor Hall so much, contradicting opinion. But if you love Taylor Hall so much, then you should love Keith Kincaid so much. Because the two of them.
We do love him so much.
Yeah, the two of them had 2 or 3 really good seasons, and then all of a sudden, why are they still here?
Well, the difference is Keith Kincaid was a backup.
Taylor Hall was a liability with the Devils in his last year. Not in the sense where he wasn't good enough, but he was sucking up so much money, and he just wasn't reasonable for a rebuild. If we're talking about Devils greats, he spent a year as a liability for the program.
Well,
But he did. But
on the ice, he won a Hart Trophy, and he took this team to the playoffs. I think.
No, I will say this. I will say this to my grave. I really think Keith Kincaid did more than him.
And that is your opinion. It's a wrong opinion, but it's an
I
opinion.
do think it was close. Keith Kincaid is undervalued by Devils fans on that player front. I don't think they make the playoffs without him, but Taylor Hall also was a very, very big factor in that year. There's a reason he won the Hart Trophy for league MVP. Jordan put him in pretty good. I will vote to keep him there.
I put him in solid if he's lucky. If he's lucky.
Well,
I
once
think
again,
I can tell why you guys probably had more of a relaxed show last week because I wasn't bringing in my opinions. I happen to be a little bit more harsh on the overpaid players. I expect more out of players.
Oh,
Taylor Hall
trust
wasn't
me,
overpaid
I
when
am-
he was on the team.
Taylor Hall was paid a lot of money.
He was
and
paid $6 million.
Yeah, he was
That's
paid
not that
$6 million, and he was not a part of the rebuild in his last year. We kept him for a little longer than I would have liked.
I
And
agree.
they flipped him and they got a good return.
I will
for
say,
it.
I will
and
say.
you know what? Now that he leaves the Devils, he's back. He's back to the old Taylor Hall that we remember. These players on
I mean,
the
not
Devils.
really.
Not
well,
really,
he's,
no.
He's pretty good. He's much better than he was in his last year on the Devils.
Yeah, you're measuring
mean,
one
not
year.
really.
I will say I agree with most of your points, but the reason I'm bumping him up to good is because he won that Hart Trophy, and that's really a historic moment for the Devils. It really brought a lot of attention to our team. It put our team on the map, which is why I'd put him there.
It is, but Danico got his number retired. Is that not good enough for you?
No, because it wasn't really an on-ice thing. It was more of a he's
It was
beloved
more of
by
a,
the
yeah,
fans.
it was more of a he's loved by the, yeah, exactly. All right, well,
I mean, I disagree wholeheartedly.
For time constraints, let's move on. Ryan, you're gonna
Adam
go to
Henrique.
we're gonna go to someone you dislike to someone you very much love in Adam Henrique.
We all love him.
Sorry?
You have Adam Henrique?
Oh, I was a big Adam Henrique fan. I don't know if he belongs on this list. He was a fan favorite. I'm gonna put him in between solid and pretty good. I'm gonna give him pretty good.
I am going to have to agree with that. I went back and forth on Adam Henrique, and the only reason I'm putting him in solid or in good is because Henrique gets over. That was just a historic moment for the team. He was a very
Payback for 94.
exactly payback for '94. He was a very solid presence for 8 years, but he really wasn't an elite center in the NHL. But what bumped him up to good is that historic on-ice moment. Henrique gets over.
Yeah,
Play that
not
back
only
in my
that.
head every day.
The reason why I said before my statement, and I really should rephrase a little bit better, is why he's lucky to be on this list, is because he was traded to the Ducks, and he still had a few more years with the Devils. He could have had a lot more. That's the same thing with Taylor Hall, is that these players, they're considered Devils greats. They left before, well, Taylor Hall was gone before he was 30. Like, I don't know if that's really fair. Anyway, as you were saying.
Well, they were both trading in contract years.
They were both traded in contract years. And if you take a look at, I know it's not really fair to make a comparison because this team is so much older, just, so much, and I hate to say this as a Devils fan, better. But when we're talking about the Rangers, the Yankees, when we're talking about some of the best professional sports programs, not just in the country, but in the world, we're looking at players who have been on these teams for a really long time. These players got traded in contract years. Taylor Hall before he was 30, and we're giving him, I just think that's ridiculous. I don't know.
Because he won that Hart Trophy, but you and I agree on Adam Henrique putting him in good, right?
Yeah,
What do you
I
think,
love
Jacob?
Adam Henrique. I think it is a shame, but it was a necessary shame that he was traded.
The Devils needed a right-handed defenseman that year.
Yeah.
Same Vatan and Phil
And
Devil.
it worked out. They made it to the playoffs by 1 point because of good defense and good goalkeeping.
And Taylor
Excuse me.
Hall.
Yeah.
Well, I would vote to bump him on solid, but you guys both have put him pretty good.
It's that
I
moment.
respect that. So let's move on to Bobby Holik. Bobby Holik is a guy that is underrated by Devils fans. He was more of a bottom six guy, but he still scored a ton of goals, a ton of points as a New Jersey Devil. He's a hard-hitting forward. I would vote to put him. I would put him in solid though, just solid.
I would agree with that. He was just a very steady presence, 11 years with the team. You always love to see that. He didn't do much besides put up a couple of 60-plus point seasons.
He had over 600 points with the organization.
He did,
So-
but he didn't have he had a couple of.
Actually, I'll bump him to pretty good. I think. for Bobby.
I would still keep him in
Over
solid.
1,400 penalty minutes in his career. Just a
Yeah.
funny stat.
It shows you how the
It's
times
very
have
great.
changed
Yes.
in hockey.
Yeah,
It's
but
like the Danico days with no teeth.
Yeah.
I may be underrating him a little bit, but I'm going to keep him in solid just because he never really got to that elite level with the
So
team.
Ryan, it's up to you. Would you bump him down to solid, or would you vote to keep him in pretty good?
I'm gonna put him in solid. I'm gonna have to agree with solid.
We
All
agree.
right. All right.
See, we agree sometimes.
he's-
No, we actually do agree a lot. It's just I'm very passionate about when I disagree with you because those are like opinions that I really want to go forth with.
Jordan, this is a
Understandable.
controversial one.
I get all the controversial
You have Ilya
ones.
Kovalchuk.
Did you plan
I
it
feel
like
these
this?
are all controversial to us. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie to you. They're all controversial.
Well, we're going to get to the ones that aren't so controversial.
All right.
Jordan.
It's tough. See, on the ice, I would say you know what? I'm going to keep it in solid. And I have in my notes, if you can see here, good bordering solid, but and
Okay.
he was a
How
great
about
player.
we do this? How about we do this?
Yeah.
Aaron and Ryan, show the tier list. We're going to add row below, and we're going to name it Nizam. And then we're going to put Ilya Kovalchuk in there. All right.
Because the ultimate betrayal.
I'm not really sure that
For
we
those
should
who are
be- I
unfamiliar,
don't know.
Kovalchuk went back to Russia instead of playing with the Devils, so he's there.
All right. Ryan, you are up next, and you have John McClain.
John McClain.
Second all-time in points in Devils history.
I'm very aware who he is. Very good player. I'm going to put him in great.
I would agree, 100%. I mean, like I said, second all-time in points in Devils history. He was an all-time great, and he should have his number. And he won, I believe, just one Stanley Cup with the organization, but he scored the winning goal to send them to their first ever playoffs. He should have his number in the rafters. I don't know why it has to
So let
happen
me
already.
ask you something. McClain in great doesn't have his number retired. Danico, his number retired.
Well,
Numbers
McClain was a
retired
great
doesn't
player.
mean anything.
McClain, no. The number retired means a lot. We're talking an organization.
Not on this tier list, it doesn't.
It does to me. We're talking about Devils greats.
We're
People
talking
who've
about
impacted the player.
these are all Devils greats. We're talking about on ice performance
I think we're talking about just
and some
Devils
superlatives.
greats. Yeah.
So John
Well, you added
McClain.
a list for communism because of a player's choice to go play in a different country.
That's more of a joke. That's more
Yeah,
of
it
a
was
joke.
more of a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, John McClain, I will keep him in great. He had an 87-point season, multiple 70-plus seasons. He had 934 games played with the team. He was an overall steady presence from the beginning. He helped the team survive the early years. He sent the team to their first playoffs. He's just an all-time great.
All right, next up, I keep getting all the boring ones. I have John Madden, not the guy who was named after the video game, as Ryan once said.
Everybody go to our YouTube. I can't remember the episode for the
It
life
was
of me.
season two, episode 1. Go and skip and find the part where Ryan is talking about John Madden. It is one of the funniest bits in Puck Drop history.
It has to be one of the funniest bits in TV history.
Well, John Madden was one of the best penalty killers, the best penalty killer in New Jersey Devils history. I will say that comfortably.
He was also I love checkers. I love checkers.
He was a shorthanded goal machine. Didn't score that. He was more of a bottom six forward, but Devils
a
legend.
very
He
good
scored a
defensive
ton of
forward.
important goals. I'm going to put him in just solid.
He was a defensive forward. He was a great checker. I love forechecking forwards. They wear out a defense. That is the secret key to winning. That's why I love Miles Wood so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him in great.
Oh, I wouldn't put him in great. I would keep him in. I would split the difference with you guys and put him in good, because he didn't score much, but he was a very, very solid defensive forward. He spent a long time with the team, a very steady presence. He won a Psych Trophy and had 4 additional top 5 finishes. Selke, yes, excuse me.
That's what Jacob is for. He always corrects the small things.
Exactly. But he was a very, very solid defensive forward, and that's why I'm going to keep him in good. I think.
Well, you guys both voted to move him up, so I'll bump him up to pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Jordan, you have someone who should be in this top tier, Scott Niedermayer.
Okay, I went back and forth with him, believe it or not, but
Seriously?
really?
yeah, I'm gonna put him in GOAT though. I'm gonna put him in GOAT.
Okay.
I was considering putting him in great, but I must have been tired when I wrote these notes because I'm definitely gonna put him in GOAT. He is arguably the best offensive defenseman in team history. He actually leads Scott Stevens in the points category and the goals category, I believe. Yeah, there's not much to say. He's a Hall of Famer. He played a lot with the team. He was captain for one season too.
Two-thirds of his career with the Devils. 12
Exactly.
out of his 18.
892 games played with the team. That's almost 900. That is insane.
He
And
played 2000s hockey with them. He won some cups with them.
He won
won a-
Stanley Cups,
yeah.
all 3 Stanley Cups.
He won a Norris-
was a crucial piece to all those. As you said, he won a Norris Trophy. Scott Niedermayer is a New Jersey Devils GOAT.
He played over 700 games with them.
Ryan, your next one up. You have
Oh, you got a controversial one.
a little
Look at you.
bit. Zach Parise.
I'm a Parise fan.
I am as well.
like him.
I love Zach
I'm a fan of Parise. I would put him in pretty good, maybe great.
I would put him in the great. If you put him in great, I would vote to keep him there.
In my notes I have good, borderline great, but if you guys are going great, I'll blow with the
He was
wins.
a very good hockey player, and he was with the Devils for a very long time. That's what wins him over in
I
comparison
think
to
he
others.
has the most. He has a single season points record for the Devils, I believe.
I can't fact check him because he is the fact itself.
I-
So yes, 100% he's great.
I do not believe so. I think that is
Oh,
Patrick
it might be
Elias.
Patrick Elias.
Yeah, no.
He's second.
Elias-
Jordan, you ruined my statement.
Elias had 96. Parise had 94.
I was close. It was close.
Yeah.
Jordan, you ruined my statement. I just gave this guy a gold compliment, and for the first time in his entire life, he got a hockey stat wrong.
Well,
I was close, all right?
he was
You're the Wikipedia. You can be
very
edited.
close.
People edit you sometimes. Continue.
very close. I will put him up to great. I will put him in great with you guys. A stat that really stood out to me: he had 5 30-plus goals, 5 30-plus goal seasons with the team, including a season where he scored 45 goals. That is crazy.
Well, we have 2 more players left, and I finally don't have a boring one. Scott Stevens, easy goat.
100%.
He's the
Scott
other
Stevens
Duh.
was a phenomenal Devil.
He had some of the most punishing hits in not just Devils history, but NHL history. That's Eric Lindros hit in the 2000s Eastern Conference Finals. Look that up on YouTube if you haven't seen that. It is fantastic. And he also was a great offensive defenseman as well. Scott Stevens, easy go. He is captain. He was the most famous captain in Devils history.
Well,
He exemplifies a trap defense.
He played over half his career with the Devils. I think it was 12 out of the 20 seasons.
Yeah.
He was the fifth overall pick. So everyone knew he was going to be a superstar. No doubt about it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's a GOAT. I would say he's the best offensive defenseman in team history over Niedermeyer, just because he had those 3 dominant seasons. He has 956 games played with the Devils. He was captain for 11 seasons, no doubt about it. Hall of Fame.
If
And
you're right-
Scott Stevens, the way the Devils got Scott Stevens is it makes it even funnier how good he was for the Devils.
Didn't they
Scott
get him from the
Stevens,
Blues?
Brendan Shanahan was signed illegally from the Blues, and the Devils got Stevens in compensation.
All right.
You know,
We got our
I
final
thought that
one.
was Niedermeyer.
No, that was Stevens. Final one, Jordan. This is the most recent retiree on this list, Travis Zajac.
You know what? I'm going to put Travis Zajac in good. I know, Ryan and Jacob, you might not agree with that, but he had over 1,000 games played with the team, and that's a very important
I think
stat
he's
to
third
me.
all time in points.
Yeah, he's third all-time in points.
I think on this list,
A
he's played
stout-
the 3rd most amount of games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A stout defensive center, and a couple of really good point seasons.
I would keep him in pretty good.
Yeah, I would-
First round Devils draft pick, pretty good to great.
All right, that is it. Ryan, you want to wrap things up?
I guess I will. So thank you so much for letting me join you guys this week. I'm very happy to be back ongoing for our 4th and final season as Puck Drop host, guys. It's been a pleasure kicking off my season with you and continuing on with your streak. We will see you next Tuesday right here on the LTV Network. With that being said, wow, I haven't said this in a long time. Follow us on Instagram, Puck Drop, source by Puck Drop, source, and our Twitter is at LHS Puck Drop, and our YouTube is capital P, UCK, capital D, ROP, capital L, capital H, capital S. Toodaloo.